The United States has strongly condemned the military takeover in Sudan and suspended hundreds of millions of dollars in financial aid to the country. There's also been alarm expressed by the Arab League and others about the situation there. To talk about this more, I'm joined by our International Affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, what can the international community do now to put pressure on the military?
Well, they can simply cut off the cash flow. That will be the first leverage they will try to pull on the new rulers of Sudan, if they are new rulers, because they were part of already the transitional makeup of the country. But now the military has got rid of the prime minister and taken over sole control of the running of Sudan. So the international pressure will come from the United States. It's the biggest donor to Sudan. So they've already announced $700 million worth of aid will be frozen. 370 million's already been passed into Sudan so far this year, but the rest of it looks like it won't be coming. There's also the European Union, 52 million euros worth of humanitarian aid due to come into Sudan during the course of 2021. That looks uncertain now. So there will be financial pressure on the military in Sudan to move forward with some kind of pathway to a restoration of that transition process. What they've said so far is they will go ahead with free and fair elections in 2023, but that does not look as certain as it did before this military takeover took place. So we have the international pressure on one side. We also have, I think, pressure on the pro-democracy movement, the civilian movement, to continue protesting in Sudan, to put the pressure on the military to come up with some kind of plan forward, and also to give news about what has happened to the Prime Minister, Abdullah Hamdok, where he's gone, where those ministers have been taken to, when the internet connection is going to be re-established, and when there will be a resumption of some kind of normality in the country.
What about more locally to Sudan? What sort of regional impact could this coup have?
Well, there are several countries around Sudan who have close relations, either good or bad, with the country. First of all, there is Ethiopia in the east, where there have been clashes this year over the border between the two countries. But I think Ethiopia, with its current military campaign in Tigray province, is going to be too busy to take much interest in what is going on in Sudan at the moment. It's too many problems on its own plate back home. Then there is Chad to the west, where there have been attempts over the years, particularly under the regime of Omar el-Bashir, to destabilize the country. So they will be keeping a watchful eye on what is going on in Sudan. Then to the north, there is Egypt. Now, Egypt has a common river with Sudan, that's the Nile. So there is a lot of working relationships between the two different peoples. But the rulers of Egypt, the President Sisi, is known to favor more a military solution in Sudan than a democratic solution and a freedom of speech solution. So he may be willing to step in with other nations, namely across the water, Saudi Arabia, also the United Arab Emirates, which also support that, to bail out Sudan, the military in Sudan, in the short term. The question is, Stephen, how long will that bailout carry on for? Because what Sudan needs is a constant inflow of humanitarian aid to help it get back on its feet. After 30 years of dictatorship under Omar el-Bashir, which ended in 2019, this is not a short-term process, this is a long-term process. So the fact that that humanitarian aid looks like it could dry up, aid into the country to help boost the economy, is seriously bad news for the military. So they will have to try to find money elsewhere. They may be able to get it on the short term from those countries, but that is not sure it's going to last for the long term. So it's a very precarious situation. And on top of that, one other thing which is very important to mention is that there has been a lot of coming in and out of the country of weapons through Port Sudan, which have been used to go into the Middle East and also to other parts of Africa. That will be very interesting to see how that situation continues now that the military has taken control.
Plenty for those on Sudan's borders to watch for as well. Philip Turle, thank you very much.